Greetings, salutations, and hallucinations, those steamed offenders, back again with Vaping with Uncle JoeJoe. It's been a minute. Got a bit of a flux going on with my job, not sure what's going on, so the company I work for is up for sale, so it's kind of makes it a bit difficult for me to do anything on any kind of thing that looks like a schedule right now until I get all this wrapped up. But I did find some time to bring you a new tank. And this one I picked up at Vape NW. This is the Gemini RTA. This is a full-on RTA, not rebuildable coils. This is an RTA, rebuildable tank atomizer. So you don't get pre-built coils with this. You're going to build your own. It is a 3.5 mil capacity, and you pick one up for $29.99 down at vapenorthwest.com. It's vapenw.com. I'll put a link in the description, of course. And we're about to get down and dirty and unbox this puppy and take a look at her. Hold tight. And here we are back again with the Gemini RTA up close. Now, of course, it's been used for over a week now, but I want to put it back in the box, just kind of let you see what you're going to get in the mail. Pop this top off here, and we unbox the tank itself. Technically, this is in there backwards, to be honest about it, and hey. Now, you'll notice one of the first things is you do get a chuff. Now, this isn't a full-size chuff. And turn it around where you can actually see this puppy. So it is a much bigger bore than what you get on a standard 510. Now, there is a 510 adapter in here, and I'll show you the everything that comes with it. Let's go ahead and take this thing down after we get the box out here. Now, this comes with it, and you turn it around here. So you can take this off, and here is your standard 510. Now, that's just a standard 510. Now, as you can see, yeah, there is a significant amount of difference in the size of the holes here. You got a lot of difference. There's a pretty good bit of difference there. Of course, this is a standard 510. Now you look in here, here's your little bag of goodies. There's a couple of pre-made coils in there for you. Replacement gaskets, you got some replacement screws and a few other little grommets in there to replace things with. This little plastic beauty here is your 510 adapter. You screw this into the top of the tank and you can now use a standard 510, which they did supply you with one. And it's a black Delrin tip. Doesn't transfer heat. One thing I really love to see, you get an extra tank. I love that. If you're like me and you tend to be a bit on the clumsy side, well, whoops, I'm about to put the, now, you also get a manual. On the other side, you will also get the Allen head key to loosen up the post. I'm just going to put this in like this because I don't really care about that little piece of paper. Now let's break her down and see what we've actually got. Now when you look at it, you're going to notice some things. First of all, you have 4 air holes on the bottom. You have a control here. If you can zoom in where you can see these tips here, that's your juice control, and as you turn, this thing here turns around. It's basically a juice control, somewhat like the Goliath 2 when it came out. The Goliath 1 and 2 both have a juice control. This allows you to completely cut off the juice to the coil, or as much juice as you want. Personally, I run mine wide open. Another interesting thing they have done is they've added airflow up here. Now this will actually allows, and this is also where you fill it. So as you turn that, you can actually open and control those, and that allows more air. It's a pretty cool little concept. And of course, here's your top fill. I really like this. You got 2 very large holes. That means as you're pouring juice in, you've got room for air to come into the tank and escape as the juice goes in. That way you don't, a real small hole, the viscosity of the juice will actually plug the hole as you're filling it, and you wind up making a mess. Also, with the top here, as you can see, sticking up, it's not flush with those holes, so it's going to be a lot harder with this particular tank to overflow this into here, since it's actually taller than the rest of the tank. You're not going to have much problem with juice going down in this hole, which is a really good thing. Now the tank itself does unscrew here, and it does come off. Now the beauty of it is, if you leave this on, then you can take your tank off here and set it over here out of the way without making a mess. And of course you do have a Velocity style deck. Really, really fond of these decks. You've got 2 fairly large air holes. Sorry, I'm having to do this in an awkward way today. My camera's not wanting to be nice to me, so I'm having to actually do a remote on it. As you can see, you've got 2 holes on either side, so you get plenty of air. And you got this little ring here, which is getting to be fairly common. There's a lot of tanks out there that are utilizing it. Got a little bit of cotton in there. Like I said, this tank's been used for all week long. You also have your juice canals here with a little small deck here, and this screws down on top of it. Now you can leave this little ring off if you want to. I haven't noticed any real difference in it at all, because one of the times I actually forgot to put it back on there. Didn't notice until the next day, and I was like, didn't even notice it not being there. Cool. Now personally, what I do like is the 2-piece chimney and the being basically a bell that's going to screw down over this to protect the wicking as you screw it down. Because the fun part is this thing here doesn't screw down and lock. It will continuously turn, and that's what gives you your juice control. Really think they should have put a bottom on it where it'll bottom out and stop, and you have to back it up. It'll go all the way to say just past the hole, and you have to back it up to the hole. That would have been a little bit better in my book, but it's no big deal. It's not anything to really complain about. Fairly neat design. Those of you who have used the Griffin are going to be right at home with this particular tank. Matter of fact, I have a Griffin in there that I just got in the other day, and I'm going to do a review on that later on, hopefully tomorrow. Don't know. Just depends on how life treats me. All right, let me go wick this puppy up, and I'll show you how I do it. Not the best way, not just my way. This is how I do it. To give y'all a little hint to help you out a little bit, and you can take it from there. Be back in just a second. All right, I went ahead and popped the coils in and did all that. Everybody knows how to do that. No sense in boring you to tears with all of that. Now, here's the Allen wrench that does come with it. You do get an Allen wrench. I don't like Allen wrenches for my grub screws. The main reason being, if you lose one of these, and it's the only one you have, you're kind of screwed. This isn't something that most people keep a large abundant supply of. While if you're a vapor, you most definitely have some of these little screwdrivers, which are little Phillips head screwdrivers, and the head on the grub screw doesn't matter. It's the threading that makes it to whether it's actually going to be able to hold a grip or not. It's the threading in the post and the threading on the screws. If they match up great, you're going to have a great grub screw. So the head doesn't matter, so why don't you just go ahead and put a Phillips head on there, and everybody's got one. Make it a little bit easier. It's no big deal. It's just one of them things that I would much prefer. Now, as you can see, I've already got the coils in there. This is, there's a wire right here from Lightning Vapes. It's Nichrome N80s 28 gauge. These are twisted, 2 strands twisted together. This gives me a nice little ohm load. If I just give it just enough of a click to click it on here, you'll be able to see that I'm running 0.4 on these. Not exactly. I usually try to get around 3, but 4 is fine. I'm not really feel the burning need to get down to 0.15 and all that. Around 0.2, 0.3 is where you usually like to be. This is a little high, but it'll do. It will do nicely. The juice I'm going to be using today is from DrCrimmy's. This is their Scream with an extra flavor shot. As you can see, that's a VG is 60%, 1.5 Nick, 125 ml bottle. That's $30, folks, for a 125 ml bottle. Yeah, how you like that? There's a competition, which is MF and Donuts glazed, which is, oh my God, these are like Dunkin's or Krispy Kreme donuts in a bottle. But you can see a 30 versus a 125. This is $22. This is 30. And it's fantastic friggin' juice. This is one of my favorites. Scream is basically strawberries and cream. Oosh. What's your mind? I see, as you can tell, I did leave the ring on. For me, you can try to put the ring on after you get the cotton in there, but God knows it's a pain in the butt because it gets all up in the threads, and it just, oh God, it drove me nuts. Now, as I said, you can leave that ring off. The main reason that ring is there so that when the juice control is spinning around, it doesn't knock your cotton crazy. So it actually does serve a very good positive focus. I just wish that, to be perfectly honest about it, they had done it a little slightly differently. A good, for instance, would have been a 2-piece chimney that screws down only part of the way, say about halfway down your juice canal, or just screws just right down to the top of the deck where this does, and covers it. That would cover your cotton completely. And what I'll do is I'll simply take this and this is the fun part. Now, like I said, folks, you can just leave this ring off, but it does serve a very valuable purpose and help keeping things from getting rocked around. I'm basically just going to, most of the cotton's going to sit up on there. What you're trying to do is just get the deck. You don't actually have to have cotton all the way down the juice canal. That's not going to hurt anything if you do, but you also don't want to pack it in there so tight the juice can't get up the cotton. So what I'll do is I'll poke a little bit on one particular place, and that gets me some cotton down in there, and the rest of it will hang from there, because what I'm doing is just, the juice is going to go all the way up onto that fill deck, and that deck is where it's actually going to be wicking from anyway. So there's no real need to get, you don't want to, it's kind of like a pipe, you don't want to pack the pipe so tight it can't get anything through it. And I gotta admit, I run this thing at, about 60 watts. I'm not a big thing on your numbers. Don't let your numbers get to you. You know, a lot of people freak out, oh, this tank will do, these particular coils. It really depends on the coils. That's where your power is going to be, is in your coils. Something like a Clapton's going to take more power than a Twisted. Got a lot more metal there. Your Cat Tracks and your Aliens and all this are going to require more power. There's a lot more wire. The more wire you have involved, the more energy it's going to take to heat them. It's just that simple. So there's no need to really get bent on, these particular coils are rated at 1,000 million gigawatts. It really depends on, like I said, on the coils and what you're satisfied with. I know some people that have like quad coils and TFV4, they run them at 60, 70, 80 watts and they're fine. Other people are running them at 100 plus. Depends on what you're happy with. Don't worry about what the crowd's doing. Worry about what you're doing. Are you happy with it? People want to follow the masses and they tend to forget that M. Sometimes that M is silent. In other words, you sometimes wind up, instead of following the masses, you wind up following the asses. I know I followed the asses quite a few times in my life, and usually wound up with my asses being in a sling. Just all part of it, though. You live, you learn. Kind of like me finding out who really cares about me and who really don't care about me when all this stuff hit the fan. I've contacted everybody and got a lot of positive feedback from friends and family, and I got a couple of people, though, that I ain't heard from yet. Well, I'm going to call you, but they didn't. See what I'm saying? Take note. Now that you got it tamped down on there, go back around and make sure everything's all nice and googie. Looking pretty. Now you can take your tank, just gently ease it back on there. Remember, it's not going to bottom out completely like most tanks because it's got the juice control at the bottom, and it's just going to continue to roll. There. Now what you want to do when you fill it, go ahead and close that juice control up if that makes you comfortable. And of course it would help if we opened the top. And there is the top open. As you can see, you got plenty of room. You got one hose that looks like a little bit bigger. Is a bit bigger. What this does is allow let your air, when your juice is going in, your air can go out the other hole. A lot less problems in filling this puppy at that point. Get her filled up. Now me personally, would help I held it up and put it on there right when I put it on there upside down. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get that way. Okay, now we're going to take this, open it up, look around, everything looks right precious. Now, I like that tip there. Gives me more air. Generally speaking, on most, I tend to leave the juice control, the air control up here closed. I open them up just a little bit, maybe about halfway. Kind of depends on the mood I'm in more than anything. Play with that. That's just one of the features you're going to play with, experiment with. If you like it, great. If not, close them off, and it's like they're not even there. Be back in a second. We're going to start vaping on this Tucker. Now, give you my impressions. And we're back. You can see I'm having to do remote control with my phone, with my camcorder. Things are just not operating right around here for some reason. Finally had to uninstall and reinstall the app. Alright, but here we go. Now we got her loaded up. She is running 70 watts, 5.2 volts at 0.4 ohms. Man. Now this thing is a very good tank. Now, I'm going to say this. So far my favorite is still the MT RTA from Indulgence. The boys and girls up there who make that incredibly wonderful Mutation X dripper. That tank is still my favorite. With this, with the air controls and all on it, you can get a bit more air through it. A little bit more airflow through it. But to me, that doesn't really sell it. What sells it to me is the MT is a little bit easier to work on. It's not perfect by any means. There are a few things on it that I don't like. That's going to be normal. But all in all, it's an easier build deck. It's not a Velocity style. It's a standard 4-post. This is easier to build on with the Velocity style deck. But you have a little bit more room there. You have bigger, your juice canals on it are considerably larger here. The main limiting factor is your ring. We're also going to take a look at the next tech, which is going to be the Griffin in a day or so. And it has the same ring. The problem with the ring is it limits the amount of cotton that can go down into that deck. Whereas on something like the MT, you just have these big massive canals. And now on the good side, leaking isn't as problematic. The MT can be a pain in the butt to get it to wick properly because you have to put enough cotton to stop them holes up. Because then some big friggin' juice wells. Now as far as build quality, everything on it was polished out, very well made, very well. All your threads are nice, burr free. Everything's screwed together very good on this tank. Didn't notice anything on it, no scratches, no burrs, blemishes. It's a very nice, very beautiful tank. I wanted to order the black one, but at the time I ordered, which they have them in stock. Last I checked today, they have the stainless steel and the black in stock. When I ordered, they only had the stainless steel. I wanted the black one, but I figured, what the heck. That wasn't really a big deal to me one way or the other. All in all, this is a very nice tank. I really like the big drip tip on top. Like I said, this is kind of in between the full-size chuff and your standard 510. It's considerably larger, and it gets you a little bit more airflow. Now, of course, the determining factor of the whole thing is going to be your chimney, but with this added air control here, which actually adds more air to the whole 9 yards, I'm here to tell you, this is actually a very good tank. For $29.99, it's 30 bucks. It's a damn good tank. Now again, the coils I'm using are 3mm internal diameter. They're nichrome N80, 28 gauge, twisted. That's two wires twisted together. Some people don't know that, so before anybody says, well, duh, well, hey, not everybody knows everything. There are plenty of videos that teach you how to twist a wire if you haven't done it before. I don't get into all the cat tracks and all that. I have a buddy named Ryan McLeod who runs McTwisted Coils. He's a guru. I'm not even going to try to figure out stuff like that when I can just say, call him up and say, hey Ryan, hey bro, send me some coils. You can throw me a box together and on their way. So when Uncle JoeJoe wants him off the wall with them cat tracks and them alien wires and flux capacitors and the Gigonaut astronauts or whatever in the hell they're making these days, I call my buddy Ryan at McTwisted. Great pricing, great turnaround, great guy, really great guy. He really is. I'm gonna sing his praises because his coils are the bomb. Mine are about average. Nothing special, nothing real special at all. But I'm here to tell you, folks, if you want a good tank, I'm not gonna knock this tank. There really are no cons. I don't really like that little ring on there. I would prefer to have a whole entire chimney to cover my cotton, and one that allows me a little bit more room to put cotton into the deck would be, to me, better. Now, I'm going to be doing, again, the Griffin tank. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to do a breakdown on it. You're going to notice some similarities in the two tanks. And if anybody wants, if I get enough requests for it, I'll actually turn around and do a side-by-side with the two tanks and show you, you know, a really head-to-head with those. I've been known to do head-to-heads myself, so hey, I will do a head-to-head if you want to see it. I'll put the Griffin and the Gemini side-by-side and break them down and let you look at them right here on the table. And of course, we're sitting in the vape cave. We're Second Amendment friendly. We love the United States of America, wonderful country where if you're a patriot who loves your country and your Constitution, you're called a terrorist, and if you're a terrorist if you want to destroy the company, well, if you want to destroy the country, then you know you're patted on the back. But this isn't a political forum. This is a vape forum. If you want to quit smoking, this is the way to do it, folks. Put the stinky sticks down. Put them cancer sticks down. Get rid of them coffin nails. Get you some vape. Try some of that Scream from DrCrimmys.com. I'll put a link down there for that just for the heck of it. And again, solid build, yeah, solid build quality. No burrs, no blemishes. Everything comes put together real easy. Threads are nice and polished out. That's an important thing, because if they don't do that, then them threads will have little burrs on them, and they're a real pain in the butt to put the object together. This tank goes together like a dream. It's easy to use, easy to operate, easy to wick. The juice controls, to me, juice control is a gimmicky thing. I'm running a 60/40 in here, and I'm running it wide open, and I don't have a leak. There's no leaks. So I really don't see you needing that. I close them when I fill it, just because sometimes you can make the MT leak when you're filling it if you squeeze too hard. And that's just one of the minor cons on the MT. It's kind of easy to leak anyway, because the juice canals are just so damn big. It actually has canals. Makes the billow twos look like a drainage ditch next to a canal. That's the difference. Is it worth the money? In my book, yeah. For 30 bucks, you're getting a hell of a great tank. And you can go to, I'm going to put the link in the description, of course. VapeNorthwest.com is where I bought this. $29.95. Several other companies have it. Just at Vape Northwest. They ship fast. They usually next day shipping on their stuff. They got very good prices. They usually at least match, if not beat, everybody else on the block. So I highly recommend you go grab one of these if you want a good tank. This one is a very versatile tank, and it's going to give you oh man, a flavor. This thing kicks a flavor. How's that for a nice little cloud? Not bad for an old man, huh? I'm pushing 50, boys and girls. I ain't the young buck no more. I'll tell y'all what, I'm out of here. Got people to do and things to see, you know what I'm saying? So y'all be blessed out there. If you care about somebody, let them know. You're not promised the next second, much less tomorrow. Remember that. You never know. Always make sure everybody knows that you care about them. Like I ain't going to make sure I let you know I care about you. Y'all be blessed out there. And then remember what Uncle JoeJoe always says. Peas and cornbread.